the more Nigerians try to come to terms with the rising cost of living, it appears the more the situation escalates. The Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, MAN, has described plans to increase electricity tariff from July 1st as outrageous. The Director General of MAN, Segun Ajayi-Kadir, has warned that a 40% tariff increase at this time will lead to higher production costs, lower profit margin, cripple manufacturing activities, and lower revenue remittances to government, among others. Julie, we talked about government, part of electricity being part of the sector that it's highly subsidized by the government, and that this government has let go of the subsidy in the oil sector, let go of the disparity between the what we have in the official market window and the parallel markets, and electricity is another sector that the government might be looking at. And if this is implemented, that the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria is saying that, look, this will bring untold hardship on Nigerians.
Yes, there's no doubt that Nigerians will suffer exceedingly as a result of a 40% hike in electricity tariff. But the truth is, it is inevitable because electricity, the cost of electricity is probably, in Nigeria, is probably the cheapest in the world.
Cheapest?
And for so long, yes, for so long, government had been subsidizing this sector. Government said it was privatizing the sector. It didn't completely privatize it. It held on to the transmission leg, which is the transmission company of Nigeria. It is 100% in the hand of government. And the government has 40% shares in the discos as well as the gencos. So what government has done is not full privatization, and government continue to support these people, giving them money, and people are like, you sold the companies, public companies, public corporations. Why are you still? Because the way it is now, they cannot make profits at the current tariff. The model that Nigeria has used is similar to what was used in India, because we borrowed our electricity roadmap, the electricity roadmap that Goodluck Jonathan came up with. We borrowed it from India. It's just the implementation that is not
all right,
perfect or good enough. So if these people are to come up with cost-reflective tariff, is on an incremental basis on tariff for some time until they can get to that equilibrium level where they can say, yes, the tariff at this time is actually cost reflective. We've been in a situation in which the cost of electricity production by kilowatt hour stood at 35 naira, and the discos were charging 18 naira. So how can they make money under this arrangement, and how can investors come in? There's no investor that will want to come in a regulated atmosphere like this. So the IMF and the World Bank, they've been telling us to forget about our electricity subsidy, our fuel subsidy, even the forex subsidy, because by selling the dollar to people at 460 naira to a dollar, of course, that does not reflect the true value of our currency. And then we had different rates for people going to school abroad. We have different rates for people going on pilgrimage, different rates that are not actually a reflection of the market situation. So that is what the government is trying to get away from. I said last week that a minister told me that they traveled with the vice president and they were looking for funds. And the white people that they met said, look, you don't need any fund from us, because a country that can permit multiple subsidies is not a country that is in serious need of money. So gradually, our people have to live with this reality that, look, the years of freebies, the years of these subsidies are gone. When Obasanjo came up with subsidies in those days, we actually have subsidy for sugar, for so many essential commodities. It was in response to high oil prices as a result of the war between Israel and the Arab world. We were literally subsidizing everything. Even we were subsidizing air tickets for Nigerian Airways. But we can't continue along that path anymore. The country is broke. The country will not be able to find the money to pay subsidy to these electricity producers. And we won't be able to also find money by way of subsidy for the, for the importation of PMS into our country. So, and we won't be able to find money to continue to subsidize the foreign exchange market. So that is where we are now. It's painful, but frankly, I do not see how people can continue in business when what the consumers are paying is actually not cost reflective.
Segun, Julie has painted a global picture, but if this tariff for electricity is actually jacked up, it's going to be seriously excruciating for our people.
Why? This is not the best time to be a Nigerian. And that's a fact. This is not the best time to be a Nigerian. Under 1 month, fuel prices have been jacked up by over 300%. We are still battling with that. The electricity, we are going to have a jack up by 40%. We are talking of the dollar. The dollar is hitting almost 800. At a point, it hit about 800 during the week, last week. There is no corresponding increase in your salary and mine. We are still where we are static. Every other thing is going up. Anyway, you cannot get a loaf of bread in Nigeria, a good loaf for less than 1,000 naira. You know that very well. Then you ask yourself, yes, we agree that this has to be done. But do you now ask yourself, where is the place of government? Don't Nigerians deserve some level of subsidy in certain aspects? Must we pay for everything? Even in the United States, that are vast countries, these are subsidized. Wheat is subsidized in the United States. That is wheat. In UK, education is subsidized. In fact, primary school education.
We subsidize education too.
What do you subsidize?
Federal university. What do you?
Which one is federal?
What is the pay? Federal university.
Have you heard of schools that have increased their school fee by about 300%? You have not heard of that?
No.
Oh, you've not? Wait, you will hear during the week that in fact, there's a particular university that has increased their school fee by about 300%.
Because that's the only way they can survive.
That is the issue. So what I am saying, in essence, there's no problem. We've had issues. But what I'm saying, my problem is that why are we accumulating everything at the same time? Under 1 month, Nigerians are facing practically everything that needs to be has just. So that is the challenge for me. Yes, this is a way to go. But can we find a way of pulling this thing and spreading it along so that it does not choke down on the. Now look at the transportation. Why you see, if you notice, you know that a lot of people are trekking Lagos now. And that's a fact. You know what I'm talking about. A lot of people, if you are going home in the evening, you see a lot of people standing at the bus stop begging you to give them a lift. When last did you fill your tank? We were talking here when we finish the program. That just stop as much you can move. It's not that you are going to fill up your tank. So that is, and that itself has a spilling effect on every. House rents are going up. I'm sure you are you aware of that? House rents are going up. Every other thing is going. So what I'm looking at is, I'm looking at the situation where, apart from looking at just let us increase this, we cannot subside it. Nigerians also deserve. The essence of governance is ability to be able to look at the problem and find a solution to the problem of the people. I don't have any problem with anybody increasing it. Now, you are talking of increasing. What have we generated in the past 6 years? We remain within the 4,000, 5,000 megawatts. That is what we've been generating. We have the GenCos, when they generate, we cannot distribute. Have we ever looked at expanding the distribution aspect of it? I don't think this is the way to go. We can still find a solution to some of this problem, because at the end of it all, it's the same masses we are looking at. It's the same poor man that are looking at. Who cannot be able to, the NLC, we are supposed to go into this negotiation with the government. Now that has moved. The issue of fuel, everybody has taken, there's nothing been done about it. We are looking at palliative. I was thinking that palliative issues would have been discussed even before the issue of increment. Nothing has been done. We've increased fuel by over 300%. We are increasing electricity by over 40%. Which one is next again? And these are the basic. What I'm saying is, what is the place of government? There are certain things that government, what do we enjoy as citizens of Nigeria that are subsidized in this country now? I need to, if anybody can give me that answer, I need to know.
Well, I think with the country is in a mess. I think the country was left in a very terrible shape. How we are going to get out of this state of stupor is what I really don't know. Like my colleague has said, we are talking of fuel hike. In fact, I didn't realize it until I started buying petrol to my car. Yeah. You buy 15,000 naira. The gig you just do like this. You don't move.
It doesn't move. It doesn't move. Doesn't move an inch.
The second, third day, you are not going to Ibadan. You are not, just within Lagos.
It's gone.
It's down. Showing
yellow.
Then at the end of the week, you ask yourself, how much do I make in a week?
Exactly.
That I'm spending almost 40,000 naira to buy fuel. Imagine people who earn just about 30,000 naira in a year. Where the fuel subsidy was not removed. It was removed by the Buhari's regime. Yeah. But I think that we need to be very careful not to compound the problem. Because my concern is about stability, especially of the new government, and also of the life of, of Nigerians, the livelihood of Nigerians. Because with 40% hike, I'm wondering how Nigerians will cope. Without jobs, without some are being owed. In fact, there are media houses that are also owing.
Definitely.
5-6 months.
1 year.
So, and you can imagine the number of SMEs that have collapsed, especially compounded with the CBN. We are just getting out of that CBN cash swap that destroyed so many businesses. So, but so how we are going to cope is a major concern, as far as I'm concerned. And I think that I'm not sure that we should just have this 40% increase at once. Is it not possible? Okay, you knew you are going to increase the tariff by 40%. We could have started last year, and then maybe gradually 5%.
No, they've been increasing.
I know they have been increasing. But this 40% sudden increase, even the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria said that they spent 144.5 billion on diesel in the year 2022 alone, and they are telling us that if they continue this way with this hike, many of them will relocate to West African countries. There's going to be increase in high cost of production. They are going to lay off a lot of workers. There's going to be low profit margin. And the product of some of these companies will be substandard because they cannot, in the desperation, to meet up with cost. So I think we need to have a kind of stakeholders meeting. And I hope that the president, who is a chartered accountant, will look for a creative way to meet all stakeholders, Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, the National Assembly, so that at least we can look for something that will cushion the impact, I mean, the effect of, you know, this policy. If not, we don't need to die before we leave.
Jide, finally on this, they keep telling us to fasten our belts, and we'll continue to fasten our belts, but
they're losing their own. They're losing their own bets.
The picture we painted this night, that months ahead, days ahead, might be very, very, very tough and challenging.
Yes, it's inevitable. You see, our neighbors are hitting their heads against the wall over the removal of subsidy on petrol. The people who live in those countries, they are going to suffer as much as we are going to suffer. The truth is, government cannot subsidize everything. CKN said he wanted to know anything that is subsidized in Nigeria. When you get into the University of Ilorin or University of Lagos, the cost of accommodation for the student is extremely subsidized. And as the student steps out to get accommodation just outside the school premises, there are students who pay as much as 800,000 per year as rent. 1 million. Even in the University of Ilorin, the university community, Tanke, Fate, all of those places, if you know how much students are paying, some contractors, some developers have even deliberately built hostels for students because they know the school cannot accommodate everybody and it's costly what those students are made to pay. If education is not subsidized in Nigeria, I don't know what else is subsidized, where people will pay as little as 35,000. You know, accommodation during our own time was 90 naira in a year. 90 naira in a whole year. Accommodation for a session in the University of Ilorin. 90 naira. I didn't say 90,000. So for so long, we've been living a lie as a country. Now we have broke as a country. The only solution, if we want to continue the way we've been doing things, then things won't improve. There are alternative sources of electricity generation. Now that that bill has been signed, states can generate and sell electricity. States should take advantage of that now so that we stop relying on the national grid. There are alternative electricity generation modules that are way cheaper, way cheaper. For example, look at the University of Lagos. In the past, students would demonstrate once exams are approaching because there is no light. Rural Electrification Agency went and gave them renewable energy. Just the same way they gave Luth. Electricity at Luth now is 24 hours a day. Nothing like using telephone to do surgery. Electricity in Unilag is in abundance after REA built their renewable energy plants for them. And students were trained to operate it. Nobody mans it. It's the students that go there to do things because they will first train those students before delivering alternative energy source for them. What we should have done over the years is to take this alternative energy module to communities and ensure that the reliance on public electricity supply, reliance on the electricity from the national grid is a thing of the past. I think that that is the way to go. And the alternative source of energy, I repeat, is cheaper than this one that we are all familiar with. So we have to think of where we are going. The taxes, the way people pay taxes in other countries, you go abroad all the time, every opportunity when we give you leave, you go to the US, you go and spend your entire leave in the US. Many of us don't have that.
Will it still go again? When the dollar is 800 now, where are you still
You know, it will still find a way. It will still find a way to go.
around it.
Now, your friends and brothers who are in the US, you know the kind of taxes that they pay. Those of them in the UK, there are some countries, some EU countries where you pay as high as 50% or more of your income as
They don't
taxes.
enjoy this kind of
In Nigeria, that doesn't
electricity
happen. People switch on their electricity, they go to work, they switch it on. Even the security lights, in daytime, they switch it off and go to work. There are many things that have to change about us. We are approaching an austerity season. Let's not deceive ourselves. Because if the government doesn't embark on some of these measures, it will never find the money to be able to fix Nigeria. That is the truth. Because we left things that we should have done, we left them undone. The country was mismanaged over the years. So we now have to pay the price. I wish subsidy was not removed because I'm also suffering. But between allowing subsidy to remain so that some idiots will be making money off the rest of us and removing it and put us in a situation where we can earn more money. And when we earn more money, we are in position to build more hospitals, we are in position to build more roads. States can earn more money and be able to pay even people living wages. If I had to make that choice, I would say, okay, remove the subsidy so that this will come to us.
Okay.
So this is the thing.
All right.
There are consequences for every action.
And some of our viewers are even saying that government should cut down the cost of
governance.
Yes.
Let them show leadership.
That's why I said
Senators, House of
they
Rep.
say we should try our best.
By the time we understand that you're also making sacrifices, we'll be happy that you are part of you are part of us.
All right. And finally, the Eid Kabir festival is at the corner of Muslim